Smell those eggs and bacon. It's time for Breakfast Talk, a podcast covering a range of entrepreneurial and independent comics creation topics first thing in the morning. Of course, please like and share if you're enjoying our special seasoning. And be sure to subscribe to join us every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Let's talk.
Okay, episode 9. I did not hear it. Okay, today's episode is why taking a break is an important thing to do once in a while. That's a really long title. That's not going to be the whole title, but yeah. I am Greg of Seer Comics. I am writer, creator, founder, co-founder.
And I'm Dylan of Seer Comics, and I'm also a founder and CTO and editor-in-chief.
I'm Hector from New Leaf Studios, and I am the creative director, co-founder, general person who does stuff for the company. I do pretty much everything, a little bit of everything for the creative team.
Nice.
Ooh.
What's today's topic?
Why taking a break is a good thing to do.
All right. Well, we'll get back to you.
we're gonna go take a break.
But
that's it. That's the whole episode.
yeah, just make sure you take a break.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
But yeah, I think the reason we put this one in there was that it's a lot of our other podcasts are talking about make sure you're always pushing forward and all that stuff. Make sure you're constantly doing stuff. But it is okay that when you do get overwhelmed, don't make making comics unenjoyable. Don't make being creative unenjoyable. You want to make sure that it is in fact a passion of yours. It doesn't become work, because once it becomes work, you're not going to see it the same, and it's very hard to undo that mindset. So you want to make sure that if you're going 6 months hard to get a project out there, once it's done, it's okay to go on vacation. The reason why every job that's full-time job has a vacation is because they know that no matter how passionate you are about something, you'll get burnt out if you do nothing but consistently work. And especially if you're doing something like overtime, where you're 80 hours a week trying to make sure that you're getting a project done, and then you do that an entire year, you won't be able to make it.
And it really doesn't diminish your passion for something simply because you're taking a week off, or a little bit of time off. It's really just you have to recharge a little bit. You have to and sometimes by stepping away from a project or stepping away from something that you're typically doing those 80 hours a week, you can get a new perspective on it and maybe have better ideas that have been generated because you stepped away from it. Sometimes when you're too close and you're in the trenches, you don't see some of the fault lines, in some of the things that you're doing. And then, taking a break just allows you to kind of reinvigorate not only your energy level, your mental state, taking a nice little break, doing whatever, getting a relaxing massage or something like that. When you come back in, you have this different perspective on it. And I just think that, it just allows you to kind of re-engage with it in a different way.
Yeah. What we did last year and we're doing this year is the thing called Disappear December. Gary V, we mentioned a lot. He actually came up with that, but he didn't do it.
I know, right?
Yeah, but he came up with it, and he's like, "Oh,
I think he did that to trick everyone to go away."
Right.
And it worked because it didn't completely work for us because I was still doing a bunch of stuff, even though I was trying to get Dylan to do stuff, and it's the holidays, so I understood, but at the same time, I want to get this done. And so I didn't really take a break. I only took a break from social media. But this year, we're taking a break from, the whole month is just basically taking a break from everything, just working on something else. So I'm going to start learning more on Blender. I'm going to do Twitch if our video game Kickstarter funds, which that'll be launching in October, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm trying to learn GIMP just so I'm not completely useless. Yeah. That's why taking a break is a good thing.
Yeah, and also we're talking about in a more micro fashion. Taking a break on the daily, taking a break on the hourly, taking a break, during your process, getting up, doing some exercise, doing, something that's more driven towards your health, your mental health, your physical health, that kind of stuff. It's super essential. Most of us who are creating comics are slouched over a desk or a computer screen, or sitting in a chair and working for hours straight. In the digital age, that's kind of what we're used to. But it can really take a toll on your body and on your mind, and just being indoors, not getting any natural light for hours and hours. It can definitely take a toll on you, on your energy level, your mentality, all those kinds of things. What I've done in the past couple weeks. I mean, I do this a lot, but in the past couple weeks, it's been every day I go out and I walk. Just walking around the block, walking a mile, whatever, just to get out of my space and get the blood pumping and stuff like that. And it definitely helps with the stress level a lot. Even when especially when I know I have to turn in something by 6 o'clock and it's 3, and I'm like, I'm going to go walk around the block right now. Because when I get back in, I'm like, I just feel a lot more in the zone than I was, when I decided to go for the walk. So I would recommend doing that pretty often.
Yeah, there's actually there's a guy that I follow named Jim Quick, and he's like a memory expert, and he talked about getting into flow state, which is what every artist needs to be able to learn how to do if they want to really accelerate what they're working on. And that's one of the things he talks about, is that whenever you're doing something that's heavily in the flow state, there's a few things. First off, you can do what's called the Pomodoro technique, which is instead of working for 8 hours straight and then being so burnt out that you don't do work for the next 3 days, take an hour time slot and work for 45 minutes and then take a 15-minute break, or 50 minutes and a 10-minute break.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other alternative is you take a half-hour time slot, work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. And one of the sayings he likes to repeat, he has a lot of fun sayings that make it easy to remember these things. Again, he's a memory expert. And he says, when the body moves, the brain grooves. And it's been shown that being physically active literally enlarges and multiplies the number of synapses in your brain for you to increase memory, increase cognitive ability, and become more creative. And so it's definitely something that you want to consider. Yes, you might be in the zone and working really hard, but if you keep doing it, it's like lifting weights until you're sore. Some of the best MMA fighters in the world, who are some of the most fit people in the world, don't work out past the point of pain. They work out until they've torn enough muscles that they know that they'll grow stronger. But they don't do it so much so that they have DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness, later. And that's the same with your brain. You can do the same thing. You don't want to eat up all the glycogen in your brain, or whatever your brain actually directly uses. But you don't want to eat up all that energy in your brain. You want to save that and then use it effectively, right? You want to run a sprint after you ran a marathon. You want to run a bunch of consecutive sprints. Take a break, run a sprint. Take a break, run a sprint.
Yeah. At work last week, I was writing a comic, and I got to a certain point of I don't know what to do here. And after I came back from walking, doing my tour, I was like, oh, well, now I don't really feel like doing it. So I just stopped for the rest of the time I was there at work. And then when I went back the next day, I finished the script, but I knew that I had to stop, or it wasn't going to come out the way I wanted it to come out anyway. So.
Yeah. It's funny because working with this team in New Zealand, it's they have a really kind of new age approach when it comes to their team environment. And part of their team environment is really checking up on people's health and wellness and mental wellness and things like that. So periodically they'll just be hey, are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking enough water? Are you taking a break? When do you need time off? They come to me and tell me that kind of stuff. And I'm a classic workaholic for sure. I really could sit at my desk all day and work, and I'd be a happy camper. I really wouldn't, it wouldn't be a burden for me to do that. But as I'm becoming older and realizing it definitely is way more effective to take time away from what you're doing on a daily basis, even if you're a workaholic, and even if you know that when you leave your desk, you're going to be thinking about your desk. You know what I mean? Like, because after that first little dip of like anxiety of being away from it, like once that kind of subsides, you definitely do like feel refreshed and invigorated. Like one example I can give is like a couple of years ago, we went to Mexico, and my biggest anxiety was going to like taking a vacation was an anxiety for me, because I knew that like we had a project that was like kind of wrapping up, and there was just a lot of stuff going on with my day job. So I was like, man, is this the right time to be going, to be leaving? And guess what? We went on vacation. I brought like my drawing pad. I was gonna draw. I was gonna write. I was like gonna do all this stuff. I barely touched it, and it was like such a satisfying thing. And when I came back, you know, there was no fires. You know what I mean? Like things didn't blow up because I left my desk. You know, like it's gonna be okay. Like you don't have to put so much anxiety upon that kind of stuff, and being so much of a workaholic that you forget you have to be a human being too, and take some breaks and experience life, because that's where that motivation and inspiration is really going to come from. The experiences that you have, the connections you have with other people, those kinds of things, those real world things, that's what's going to push you forward as a creative, you know? So you can't get focused on the process.
Yeah. I had the opposite thing of that. So I went to I went to Lake Placid a couple years ago. I go like every year, most of the time, except this year, because it's like a family condo thing my grandma owns. And I brought my laptop, my girlfriend's laptop, whatever. Brought a laptop. No, it was a couple years ago, before, yeah. And I brought my laptop, and I was writing the original story of like the Seer Chronicles. So like, I was like chugging away on that story, and that's what turned into like the 1,200 page, whatever. And my grandma kept asking me like, "Oh, you want to play Scrabble?" Because that's what I usually do. But I'm like, "Oh no, I'm like doing this." So like I was like typing like nonstop, and I wouldn't stop doing that. But I was okay with doing that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, eventually I played Scrabble.
Yeah, so that environment change, you know, like it can snap something off in you where it's like, I've been struggling to do this, you know, in the background of, you know, my 9 to 5. I've been struggling to write because it's just like nothing's hitting me, right? Like nothing really inspirational. And then you just like go somewhere, change your environment, and now you can pump out, you know,
Yeah, because it's just more quiet there, and it's not sirens going off. And
that's like the whole thing of like, that's like the typical writer thing though, right? Like go to a cabin in the woods
yeah,
and write your novel, and you don't leave until you're done with the novel.
yeah. I would probably be okay with living in a cabin in the woods. That's fine. As long as it's not haunted or anything.
Yeah, there's too many really like messed up stories about cabins in the woods.
Yeah.
That's so inspirational.
So there you go. That's where you write your horror comics.
Yeah. Gary V actually talked about like a very long time ago, but he releases the same content just in different forms. He actually said that he has unlimited vacation time at his company, and it's in a way to like check to see who's always taking time off, but at the same like so he can see like, oh, well, this person just keeps taking time off.
Yeah.
But like it's also a good thing because you won't have anxiety of like, oh, well, now I gotta take off this week because I won't get any other time throughout the year.
It's so like I work from home now, obviously, and I'm like I'm a freelancer for the most part. Or actually for the minimalist part, because now I barely ever like do side projects. I usually work for like one major client of mine. But yeah, like my wife, like she always has to like fight for days, you know, vacation days, and like when to take them, and oh, this day is worse to try and take a vacation than this day, you know, and just how all those positions are going to get filled, and it's like it's such a stressful thing just to try and get some, you know, some time away. So I know personally having the flexibility, and then again with their approach to having a, you know, well-being focused kind of group, it's definitely easier and a lot less stress to just take some time off. Like literally, I told him like 2 days before, like I need a week off, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, take as much time as you need." And I was like, "All right." I didn't expect that.
Yeah, like I already like once I get my vacation time, I get a week after being there a year, which is crazy. I'm almost there a year. I already know the days that I'm going to take off, and you have to take it off like super ahead of time because the days that I'm about to take off are like what everybody wants to take off.
Yeah.
So it's the day before Thanksgiving, and then I could work on Thanksgiving because that wouldn't matter to me. The Friday I have to take off, even though I don't work that day, or probably would take Thanksgiving off too, just because. But like wouldn't have to take it off. Then I could take Christmas Eve off, but still work Christmas because whatever. And I would take those days off just because, like last year, I wasn't able to take those days off, and I don't usually work the Friday, like at nighttime. I don't work Fridays, but like I had to work because there wasn't somebody for that shift, so I had to come in. And even though it's like not a stressful job, it's just annoying because like Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because I'm fat, and
Okay for that.
it's just my favorite holiday. And like I had a miserable time last year because like I was just dead tired throughout the entire day. So anytime someone was like, oh, like ask me anything, I was just like, I just want to sleep. So, yeah.
Word up.
Word up.
Word to the up. All right. Well, that was episode 9 of Breakfast Talk.
What?
Did it.
Breakfast Talk. Okay. New creepy baby voice.
So musical, bro. And there you go. There he is.
The mascot.
Yep. What was it, Andy? What happened? And then? What else? Tell me about it. Okay. And then what? Well, why's that? Really?
Breakfast Talk. All right. We're going to take a break for a week after this because out, which, you're watching this, so,
Yeah.
Don't look forward to episode 10 until a week after this coming week.
Right.
All right.
We need a break, guys.
We need a break. Yeah, our Kickstarter is actually going on right now. So if you would like to back that, link is in the description.
And,
Back that thing up.
Yeah, back it up. Anything would work. $1, anything $1 and up.
$4.
All hairs?
Like, how
All
many,
hairs. Yeah.
how many people need to get hurt, Michael? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Hey, I'm all
Hear me out.
All right.
right.